Hello sweet beans, my name is Silly and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about December book releases. So I've been trying to keep track of all of the books coming out every month because I'm specifically not buying books. I'm not on a book buying ban, but I'm trying to decrease the number of books that I am buying so that I can read the books that I already own and also just prioritize the books that I am most excited about, that I know most likely will be 5-star reads, and also just buying books that I have read either as advanced reader copies or through my library because I know that they are something that I really enjoyed and that I want to own. So without further ado, let's talk about December's book releases. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just the books that I am most excited about. In this collection, you will see some romance, some fantasy, some contemporary fiction, some maybe a little bit more spooky, eerie, mystery, slightly verging on horror, and I think that's it. We have 12 books today, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, I do want to say that I am using Goodreads today. However, I very much prefer to use Fable to track my books, but I do track them both on Goodreads and on Fable just because they have different pros and cons, and Goodreads, unfortunately, is a lot easier to use for book releases. So I am using Goodreads today, but I wanted to include that caveat. Love Fable. Goodreads has many problems and it is owned by our horrific overlord, Mr. Jeffrey. So let's chat. Okay, we are doing this in chronological order. This one says it's releasing on December 1st, but there's a lot of December 2nd releases. So I don't know if this is just maybe the UK edition because most US editions do come out on a Tuesday. And I think December 2nd is the Tuesday. So if this comes out on that Monday, a little weird. But anyways, we have Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher. This takes place in an isolated desert town where a young woman is seeking a fresh start and is confronted by ancient gods, malevolent supernatural forces, and eccentric neighbors. It is a witty, horror-tinged fantasy and has some mystery and urban fantasy elements. I have been meaning to read anything by T. Kingfisher for a very long time, except I am a scaredy cat. I don't read many spooky, horror, or scary reads. I've heard T. Kingfisher's writing is amazing and that some of their books are not as scary and that they have such fascinating plots and really merge them with really interesting fantasy elements. So I want to read this. I might be terrified. I'll have to read it during the daytime, but it sounds really interesting. I mean, come on, Quartz Creek, estranged aunt, unhappy marriage, her only friend is her dog Cooper, ancient gods. I'm so intrigued. I want to read it so badly. Also, it's apparently under 300 pages, which is always a plus. I love to mix up my thicker 500 plus fantasy reads with some shorter fiction throughout. So next up, we have Persephone's Curse, and this is the first of our December 2nd releases. There's a lot of good books coming out December 2nd. This is by Katrina Leno, and this is a speculative tale of sisterhood, ghosts, and old family curses. This is a mix of YA fantasy with mythology and a little bit of romance. And in this, the sisters are trying to decide if they are actually descended from the goddess Persephone. It is what their aunt has always told them, that the women in their family can trace their lineage back to the goddess of the dead. Maybe she's right because the girls have a ghost in their attic of their Manhattan brownstone, but it is a kind and gentle ghost named Henry who only they can see. Then one of the sisters falls in love with the ghost and another banishes him to the underworld, and they face bigger questions of who they are and if they are actually related to Persephone. There's a little bit of magic, it's young adults, it sounds really good. It's about 330 pages, so I am sold, I am interested, and I definitely want to check that out. Then we have Something Wicked by Fallon Ballard. This is a seductive romantasy that is a hypnotic saga of sex, love, and murder. Already sold. It's paranormal. It's an adult fantasy romance, and it takes place in the country of Avon, which is in deep turmoil. There's an uprising that has overthrown the monarchy, and a decree has been issued where the candidates for the first presidential election will be selected by the completion of a very specific task: to kill the former monarch of their home province. Callum is the son of the recently dethroned king, and he is determined to be in the running. But to do so, he must come to terms with killing his father. The catch is that he can do this through the gifted courtesan in Avalon's premier sex club. The two of them may just form an alliance to win the competition and to get him on the throne. It sounds very spicy, paranormal, fantasy, magic elements. I am intrigued. Also, what else has this author written? Because I swear I've read something by them in the past. Oh my gosh, okay. I've never read anything by them, but they wrote Lisa on Love, Just My Type, All That I Want Is You, Change of Heart. A lot of these I've specifically had my eye on in the past, specifically Just My Type and All I Want Is You. So this is fun. It looks like this might be their first venture into something a little bit more fantasy and paranormal. So I am excited. Next we have Fallen Gods, which I am very certain I actually have an arc for, which is very exciting. Hopefully I'll be able to read it before then, otherwise I'll read it afterwards. But this is by Rachel Van Dyken. It is a fantasy romance. It has mythology elements, a little bit of paranormal, and it is an adult fantasy. They said the gods were myth, that the giants were only stories told around the dying fires. They lied. The gods aren't dead, they're only sleeping, locked in mortal bodies scattered across the world, waiting for the right spark to wake them. And my father is the most ruthless of them all. He raised me to obey, to bleed, to be his blade when the time came. Now he's sending me to Yonder University, a place filled with ancient bloodlines and deadly secrets. To steal back Mjolnir, the hammer of legend. If I fail, everyone I love dies. But Eric wasn't part of the plan. He's the enemy's heir, distant, dangerous, and the one person I cannot afford to fall for. I wonder what will happen. Crazy. So this sounds very fun. I love anything mythology, gods, romance. It's a done game. This is also December 2nd. Like I said, there's a lot of December 2nds around here. Now this one is a sequel. I have not read the first one. That's fine because this one caught my eye and now I'm very intrigued and want to read the first one. This is A Grim Reaper's Guide to Cheating Death by Maxi Dara. This is a cozy mystery, fantasy, and some thriller elements. It is adult fiction and under 300 pages. When a delighted killer targets her brother, a Grim Reaper risks everything to save him in this delightful, cozy mystery. Norbert works for Scythe, which might seem odd for someone as terrified of death as she is. I hope they tell us what Scythe is short for because I hope it's an acronym that actually has fun elements to it. But ever since her parents died in an accident when she was 6, she's been obsessed with avoiding risk. And what better place to learn how to cheat death than the company that employs the nation's Grim Reapers? The work enables Nora to learn all about the myriad ways you can kick the bucket, which is comforting until one day a file crosses her desk with a name she recognizes, her twin brothers. Oh, I'm already obsessed. The twins haven't spoken in 6 months, but Charlie is all Nora has left. Completely against her cautious nature, Nora steals the file, flees, racing to her brother's house. She begs him to trust her that his death is imminent. They hit the road in an attempt to evade both death and Scythe, whose sole mission of collecting souls has been disrupted by Charlie's continued existence. Fascinating. Love it. I need to find out if I have to read the first one in this to understand this one or if it's just kind of a interconnected series. I feel like it's just an interconnected series. The first one is A Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer. So seems like I can read the second one without the first one, but maybe I'll be missing some elements of the world, you know? Next we have Heir Apparent, also on December 2nd. See, I told you, December 2nd is really a poppin' day. This is by Rebecca Armitage and it is a adult contemporary fiction. It is a modern fairy tale about a British princess who must decide between her duty to her family or her own heart. Classic. It's New Year's Day in Tasmania, and the life Lexi has carefully built is working out. She's in second year of her medical residency. She lives on a beautiful farm with her 2 best friends, and she's about to finally become more than friendly with Jack when a helicopter abruptly lands. Out sits her grandmother's right-hand man with the tragic news that her father and older brother have been killed in a skiing accident. Lexi's grandmother happens to be the Queen of England. In addition to the shock and grief, Lexi must now accept the reality that she is suddenly next in line for the throne, a role she has publicly disavowed. So she to return to London, she's grieving, and she has to take on this new title. Sounds fun. I love things with royalty, especially when it's thrust upon them, so I'm looking forward to it. Then we have Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah McCall Rana. And no spoilers for special edition boxes, but I think it's a good chance that one of the many boxes will have a special edition of this book. So I'm very excited about that. This is adult romantic fantasy, high fantasy even, and it is about a daughter of an overthrown emperor. Also out, you guessed it, December 2nd. How did you know? So Camilla's life has been built on a foundation of violence and vengeance. Every home she's known has been destroyed by war. As the daughter of an emperor's clan, she spent her childhood training to maintain his throne. But when her clansmen are assassinated by another rival emperor, her plans change. With her heavenly magic of Nur, Camilla is a weapon even enemies would wield, especially those in a magical scholarly city. Hiding her identity, she joins the enemy's army school, full of jinn, magic, and martial arts, risking it all to topple her adversaries. To survive, she studies under cutthroat mystic monks and battles in a series of contests to outmaneuver her fellow soldiers. She must win at all costs. Obsessed. I want to read it now. Then we have An Archive of Romance. This is the sequel to A Study in Drowning. No, it's a novella. Oh, interesting. I thought this was a sequel. Huh. Okay. Anyways, this is coming out on December 9th. Finally, a new date. It is a dark academia romantic fantasy, is young adult, and it takes place in the world of A Study in Drowning. I guess, yeah, it's a companion novella, but not actually a full novel, and it doesn't even say the length. Interesting, interesting. Maybe the hardcover will tell me. 240 pages. Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, so it is an illustrated full color novella. Oh, with 40 illustrations and pages. Fascinating. Interesting. So it relives the two main characters' romance through mementos, illustrations, maps, blueprints, diary entries. Interesting. So this truly would only be interesting if you read the first book, and I thought this was a sequel this whole time. So now I'm actually not so sure if I'm excited to read it, because I don't know if that's for me. I would love to flip through it, but I mean, I definitely wouldn't buy this, I think. Who knows? Who narrates? Oh yeah, because The Theory of Dreaming was the sequel. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I literally own an advanced reader copy of the sequel. I'm so dumb. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I thought this was another book in the series, but it's fine. We all make mistakes. Okay, next book, also coming out on December 9th, is A Time Hop Coffee Shop. I will say, this sounds a lot like like two different books, like the like Watermoon and like this, the Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Yeah, that series. But honestly, I don't like Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and this is a different book, so you never know. Okay, this is by Phaedra Patrick, and this is about the Time Hop Coffee Shop where wishes can come true. So Greta was once the shining star of the iconic Maple Gold coffee commercials, the quintessential TV mom and wife. Now fame has faded, her marriage is unraveling, her teenage daughter is distant, and her once glittering career feels like a lost memory. When Greta stumbles upon a mysterious coffee shop serving a brew like no other, she wishes for a perfect life of those past Maple Gold commercials. Next thing she knows, she wakes up in a picture-perfect town of Mapleville, where the sun always shines, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, and second chances fill the air. She's given the opportunity to step into the life she's always dreamed of. She's determined to write her own script, but can life ever be like a coffee commercial? And what will happen where Greta has to choose between perfection and real life? Okay, I misspoke. It doesn't sound entirely like those other two, but you know, it has similar elements, but such is life. So this has magical realism, fantasy, and I would not label this as time travel. No, she's going to another world. She's not traveling back in time. So, but it is a contemporary adult fiction. Then on December 16th, we have The Once and Future Queen. And listen, I think no first print run of any book should have a special edition or a stenciled or sprayed edge. I think we should get the standard edition, and then we can get special editions later, or book boxes can do special editions. I do not want the first print run of any book to be a special edition. I think that's ridiculous, but that is my personal belief. And all of that being said, I do think the stenciled edge on this is gorgeous. So I'm a hypocrite, it's fine. This is a fantasy romance and also has historical fiction and mythology, maybe some time travel. All right, I'm in. It is a little over 500 pages. This is a feminist time slip adventure which reimagines the saga of King Arthur, told through this perspective of the Queen, complete with time travel. Vera always knew she didn't fit in, and when she learns she's meant to be in another time, she leaps at the chance to embrace a new life in a world of valor, intrigue, and unexpected magic. At 22 years old, she's at crossroads, waiting tables, grieving her previous relationship, and jogging aimlessly each morning as if toward an uncertain future. Okay. Then an odd man shows up at her workplace, insisting she is once the legendary Queen Guinevere of Camelot, that her lost memories hold the key to changing both the past and the present. Somehow it all feels like the direction she's been looking for. But when she asks the mysterious man to tell her more about Lancelot, Arthur, and a faithless queen, he can only say that much of what she's heard about Camelot is wrong. The truth he claims is something she must see for herself. And she jumps through a portal in Glastonbury's historic center. She's not prepared for what she finds. So sounds like a good time. I think it could definitely be a mixed bag, but we shall see. Then on December 30th, we have an Arcane Inheritance. I cannot remember if I have an arc of this. I might, or this might just be a very anticipated release for me and I've had my eye on it for a while. I do not remember. This is by Camilla Cole and is a modern day Arc Academia fantasy with a twist. It has some thriller, horror, mystery elements. Warren University has stood amongst the Ivy elite for centuries, built on the bones and forbidden magic of its most prized BIPOC students, hiding the rot of a secret society that will do anything to keep its own powers burning bright, no matter who they must sacrifice along the way. Ellery is determined to prove that she belongs at Warren University, whose history is deeply linked to occult rumors and dark secrets. But she settles into her freshman year, something about the ornate buildings and shadowy paths feel strangely familiar, and with each passing day that sense of deja vu grows stronger and more sinister. Despite all logic, despite all reason and rules of reality, Ellery knows one thing to be true. She has been here before, but she cannot convince brooding legacy student Hudson to help her remember a past that seems determined to slip through her fingers as if by some insidious magic. This time, she may lose herself for good. Love this kind of mystery and intrigue, and I want to desperately know more, so I can't wait for this one. And the last book we're talking about today is In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. This is the fourth book in the When in Rome romantic contemporary series. You don't have to read them in order. You don't have to have read any of the other ones, but they are like an interconnected world. So if you read this one, you will find out about what couples get together in the previous books, but it doesn't matter. You can read them all out of order. I mean, it's obvious who's gonna get together anyways, so it's fine. This takes place in Rome, Kentucky, and has a new romance between two old family friends, Madison and James. Oh yeah, I remember this. Madison left Rome, Kentucky to make it in the culinary world, but after years of chasing success in New York, all she has to show for it is shattered confidence and a desperate need for a fresh start. Coming home isn't part of the plan until an unexpected job offer lands in her lap, giving her a chance to rebuild everything she's lost. The head chef position at a new farm-to-table restaurant in her hometown. The only catch is that it comes from James Huxley, the owner of Huxley Farm and her brother's best friend, for some reason last person she wants to work for. James has always played it safe, keeping his head down and doing what's expected of him in the family business, never contemplating anything different. Until now, when Madison's happiness is on the line. He's loved her quietly for years, knowing she's never seen him as more than an annoyance. But now that she's back, he's determined to change that, even if it means he can only ever be her friend. The one problem is his charming, wildly successful younger brother, Tommy, seems determined to win her over first. Oh my god, this sounds stressful, but in a fun way, but like fun stress, you know? Like fun stress? Yeah. Then Tommy's called away on business, and Madison and James are tasked with launching the dreamy farm-to-table restaurant on their own. Oh my god, what's gonna happen? I don't know. But as the charm stops meddling in their relationship, Tommy's pursuit of Madison grows more relentless, and her fears threaten to hold her back. Keeping things strictly professional becomes impossible. Oh no, what's gonna happen? So this one comes out December 30th. I'm very excited. And with that, those are all of the books coming out in December that I am personally excited about. Please let me know if you're excited about any of the ones that I mentioned, or if there is a book you're really excited about in December that I did not talk about and I should know about. Please tell me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye!